Hello everybody, welcome back to the Spoked Wheel YouTube channel. It is time for the moment you've all been waiting for. The season finale, stage 10 of the 2020 Giro Rosa. For better or for worse, today the general classification battle will finally be decided for once and for all. Last time out, stage 9, if you haven't seen it, make sure you go back and check it out so you can see what happened before this, but it was absolutely crazy. Kasia Niewiadoma had almost a 2-minute advantage on us. It looked like the race was done and dusted, but Amanda Spratt and then Annemiek van Vleuten both did incredible jobs to come back and basically save the race for us. It was certainly a tactical error on my part to be too far back as we entered a very steep, narrow climb, and their strength was just able to overcome that and save the scenario. So we're still alive with a fighting chance. Our GC leader, Annemiek van Vleuten, is 5 seconds back of Kasia Niewiadoma, who is the race leader. And as you can see, we've got a ton of climbing on the menu. It's a relatively short stage of 110 kilometers, but there looks like 6 different ascents basically of this Monte Corvino sort of loop, I guess you could call it. So anything could happen. At the end of the day, Van Vleuten or Niewiadoma could win this race, and we're going to try and do everything in our power to make sure that it's Van Vleuten who comes out on top. So the magazine, no surprises here that they're picking Van Vleuten and Niewiadoma as the two favorites. There's even a nice little interview with Van Vleuten there. So we're getting some nice press ahead of the final stage. Our frame and wheels, same thing we did last time. We need as much lightness as possible. And then our strategy, haven't changed it a single time. We're not going to start today. Van Vleuten is our leader. And we have our teammate sprinter and free elements as well. So there's a couple different approaches that we could take to this stage as it unfolds. I'm curious to see whether other teams will just start drilling it from the front, or if the pace will be relatively relaxed for like the first half as teams try and save their energy for the finale. I think if we have teammates available, we'll probably aim for about here, the fourth climb of the day, third from the last, third from the finish. We'll aim for that point to try and start igniting things if we have the riders available. At that point, I would want to be using not Spratt and Lucy Kennedy if possible. I'd want to save those two riders for later on. So if we have, like, I don't know, Gracie Elvin or Georgia Williams available with energy, we'll try and ride on the front here. But I think basically just the repeated ascents of this climb is going to be what's going to do the damage today. So we're going to have to try and make sure that we put some pressure on Niewiadoma before the final climb. If it's just a straight one-on-one battle up the final climb, I think there's a very good chance we could win the stage, but there's also a very good chance that Niewiadoma would finish second. And if that happened, we would only get a 4-second advantage, which would not be enough to win the race. So we need to drop Niewiadoma basically and prevent her from finishing second behind us. So we're going to get right into it. I have no idea how it's going to go, but we're going to, like I said, we're just going to do everything in our power. We're going to use all our teammates to try and set Van Vleuten up to capitalize and hopefully win this race overall. Alright, so the moment of truth is here. We're on the start line, stage 10. Annemiek van Vleuten is luckily on a very good day. She has a +3 race day condition with a +3 to her hill and mountain rating. So that's a strong start, obviously. We needed her to be feeling good in order to hopefully win this race. So just looking at the climb here, it's fairly steep. But like I said, I think it's going to be more about the accumulation of climbing rather than just the final climb being tough. So we're going to need to try and make it as hard as possible over the last couple of climbs, I think, in order to make a difference once we get onto that finishing climb. So yeah, we're going to try and save energy for maybe like the first half of the race, and then we'll kick things into gear and try and put our plan into place. Obviously, we have no idea how it's going to pan out at this point in time, but my goal is that we can just use all our riders, use all the energy we have available to us, and throw everything at Niewiadoma. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then she's ridden a phenomenal race and deserves the victory. So we'll do our best. I'll be back in a second for the mid-stage update. Okay, so after 2 proper times up this climb, it honestly isn't that hard by itself. It kicks up pretty steeply around a kilometer to go. I think it gets up to about 10%. So if there's a point to make a difference, that is that point. But we're going to need to ride on the next 2 ascents to set up that third and final one, basically. So we're putting together a train here. We're just going to ride and try and keep the pace going high up the next 2 climbs. Unfortunately, a lot of our teammates are out the back in some way or another. So we don't quite have the firepower that maybe would have liked, but we're going to do our best to keep the pace high and try and get rid of domestiques and put riders into difficulty, and then we'll just... I think there's a pretty good chance it's going to come down to that point with about a kilometer to go, and it's just going to be a one-on-one battle between Van Vleuten and Niewiadoma. So we'll see how that goes, but before that, we're just going to try and keep the pace up there and do some damage. Okay, so we're heading into the penultimate ascent of this climb. Lucy Kennedy is about out of energy. She did a nice job whittling down the field. It's currently at 19 riders. Amanda Spratt just did a big effort because unfortunately she let Kennedy's wheel go on the descent, so she kind of doesn't have a ton of energy for this penultimate climb, but we're going to try and ride with her nonetheless once Kennedy is out of energy, which she basically is at this point. So Kennedy, you can go on automatic, and Spratt will give you your energy gel. So we're going to stick it on 85 for this ascent, see if we can't get rid of a few more riders here. Niewiadoma's still sitting there with a couple of teammates, which isn't quite ideal for us, but that's the way it goes. And Spratt is running out of energy pretty quickly. She might not make it to the top of the climb, which she's not going to, unfortunately. So now the question is, do we try and attack with Van Vleuten, or do we wait and see how things play out? I'm honestly not sure. There is a pretty significant descent before the final climb. I think we're gonna... part of me wants to attack and try and win this in a blaze of glory, but I think realistically the smarter strategy is to wait in the wheels and make sure we have enough energy for that final climb. So Van Vleuten, you're going to stay here for now. Spratt is out of energy, so we'll see if anyone else comes to the front, sets tempo. No one is. Here's this final kilometer where it kicks up to about 10%. And plus, if no one else decides to set pace, Spratt could potentially recover a little bit in the descent, and then she might then again be of use on the final climb, which would be great. We're down to 16 riders in this front group now. Niewiadoma marking Van Vleuten, as she has been for a lot of this stage. So it's going to be a good finish, I think. I mean, I don't know for sure whether we'll have enough in the tank to get away from her, but I really hope we do. So let's have Sprat grab a water bottle right now, and that way she can also recover a little bit by going backwards in the group, and then hopefully she can come back up by the time we get to the last climb, have the water for her and Van Vleuten, and then also have a little bit of energy to set tempo on the lower part of this final climb. So she's riding hard at 85. She doesn't need to be doing that right now. Let's take it down to 65 so we don't use up all her energy. I don't think those groups behind are coming back regardless of how hard she rides, so keep it on 65 up over the last bit of climbing. Now we're on the descent. Hopefully she can recover. I guess, yeah, she only has a 57 downhill rating, so I guess that's why she couldn't hang on to Kennedy's wheel on the descent. I wish I was a little bit more aware of that, because it would have been helpful to have Sprat have more energy there on that penultimate climb, but I think it's okay. I think it's alright. She has enough energy to be of some use when we hit this final climb, and then we can basically just use her to launch Van Vleuten and try and win this thing. So like we saw in that last one, I think basically that point around a kilometer to go is the spot to make the difference. So now that we're off that descent, let's get Sprat up there. These riders are going all out. Like we said at the start, that doesn't really matter. It's just, we're just focused on Niewiadoma, because no one else really can make a difference on the GC. So we're inside of 5 kilometers to go. This race is about to be decided. I'm nervous. I hope we can pull this off. Let's wait a little bit longer to use the energy gel on Van Vleuten. Maybe around 3 kilometers to go we'll do that. And Sprat is running out of energy, so we're gonna have to go sooner or later. Let's ride with Van Vleuten right now first. Niewiadoma is several wheels back there, so I think there's a chance that we could get a gap with an attack. We're getting real close to the point that we need to attack. It's just outside of a kilometer to go when it kicks up. And there we go. It has kicked up. Van Vleuten going. She has a gap. I think we're going to win it. It's hard to see because of the buildings, but no one's following. Van Vleuten takes the stage win. That should be enough for the overall win as well. Niewiadoma gets second, so she'll get the 6 bonus seconds, but that certainly looked like a big enough gap that we're going to be on different times, and as a result, we should achieve our goal of winning the overall at the last possible second with Annemiek van Vleuten. So I don't want to speak too soon, because you never know with the timing at the finish lines in this game, but let's go to the podium, and hopefully we will see Annemiek van Vleuten, not just on the podium for the stage, but for the overall win as well. That was a little bit strange, because this whole race, Niewiadoma has been glued right onto our back wheel, basically. We can't go anywhere without her, but then right at the decisive moment, she was nowhere to be found, and based on those achievements that just popped up, it looks like we got it done, got the win. So let's check out the podium. Stage classification, Annemiek van Vleuten, 33 seconds back to Kasia Niewiadoma. That is more than enough to take the win. So that's perfect. We win in the end by 33 seconds on GC. That is phenomenal. So great ride actually by Amanda Sprat. I think we made the right decision to... I was tempted to attack with Van Vleuten there on the second climb, because a long range move to win would have been pretty cool, but we were able to recover some of Sprat's energy on that descent, which then allowed her to set things up perfectly. I don't know if Niewiadoma was struggling or just not in a good position, but either way, no one could go with our attack. We get yet another stage win, and we take the overall GC win by 33 seconds, which is a pretty tremendous success, I would say. I also think it's fitting that the gap to Niewiadoma was only 33 seconds, and then everyone else was miles behind. Lucinda Brand, who finished third, 7:05 back, because it really was a battle between Niewiadoma and Van Vleuten throughout the whole race. So it's fitting that they were not just 1-2, but so close together when everyone else was quite a ways back. And Amanda Spratt ended up in 11th on GC, so she didn't quite get that top 10 that we were hoping for, but I think it was worth it to sacrifice her in order to get the win with Van Vleuten, so I don't mind that too much. Let's just check and see how many stage wins we got in the end. So the first one was not won by us. That was Canyon SRAM won that team time trial. But then we won stage 2 for our first, second on stage 3. We won stage 4 for our second stage win with Van Vleuten. We won stage 5 with Amanda Spratt for our third stage win. We did not win stage 6. We won stage 7 for our fourth stage win. We won stage 8 for our fifth stage win. We won stage 9. And guess what? We also won stage 10. So what is that? 6 stage wins in a 10-stage race. That's pretty solid. I would say we were the deserving winner with Van Vleuten after that. She herself won 5 of the 10 stages. Spratt also grabbed that stage win as well. Lucy Kennedy also finished just outside of the top 20. But again, those milestones would be far more important, I think, if we were unable to actually win the race with Van Vleuten. So I'm very happy with that result. There was a moment there in stage 9 that it looked like we wasted all our hard work earlier on in the race and had lost our chance to win it, but Van Vleuten and Spratt working together were able to pull back that move by Niewiadoma where she had a minute 50 on us, and then again today in stage 10, Van Vleuten and Spratt were able to work together nicely, and Annemiek capitalized and got the win. So yeah, very happy with how this series went. I had a lot of fun doing it. I think I like these shorter series, I guess, where there's an obvious finish line not too far in the future. So I'm definitely going to try and do a few more of these individual races that I turn into series. And as I have done throughout the series, I'll put the links to the Steam Workshop pages in the description of the video. So if you want to play Women's World Tour races on PCM 20, you can follow those links, get those mods from the workshop pages set up, and play yourself. Thank you to everyone for watching throughout the series and for following along. I appreciate it a lot. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on future videos that I have coming out. But other than that, thanks a lot for following along. I'm glad that we got the win in the end. I think that's our first GC win of any type on the channel, so it's a significant milestone. Yeah, thanks again for watching. I will see you all next time.